Haley.
Hello.
Hi. Welcome back to the Girl Dinner Book Club podcast. And today we are doing things very differently than we typically do for this episode. Usually, obviously, we,
You know?
you know, you know, you know that typically we be doing a synopsis over a book that is popular or that we are down to read. But we decided that we are going to be a lot more casual with things today and just kind of talk about the books that we've been reading lately and our goal for the year with our books, the podcast, all that kind of stuff. So this is just a very sit back and chill and, vibe with us. So yeah.
No structure, just a conversation.
No structure, just chaos, like our life typically is.
Yes.
Well, I say that as if, we're still like young teenagers being idiots and not like 30-year-old white women with, with the structure and tummy problems.
Oh my god, yes, so many hot girl tummy problems. I never thought in my early 20s that I was going to be the girl that was like, yeah, I got to leave the party cuz I got to poop and I want to do it in my own bathroom.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, today I spent 25 minutes researching the benefits of aloe vera juice. So that's where I'm at in my adulting journey. Oh my God, we need to stop talking about juice. Let's talk about books. Books, which we are reading a lot of this year. We are going to try to do the whole 100 book a year thing. And I say try, honestly, for me, less so you, who's already over a fourth of the way there. And it's just now March. So
I had a really productive month.
yeah.
Yeah.
There was not a lot of video games happening. We play video games a lot together. That has not been happening over this last month and a half-ish. It's just been a lot of reading.
Yeah, I mean, I flip back and forth because sometimes, after I finished Throne of Glass, I needed a break. I was in a little bit of a slump. So that was when we were playing through the entirety of Grounded. And that was a good time. But now, I don't know. I've just found so many things that, sorry, Fizz is going ham on her scratch post.
She
I
needs
thought
to
a lot of
scratch and she needs to do it now.
she does. What is that? J.G. Wentworth,
It's my
877
money
cash
and
now.
I need it now. Literally, oh my gosh. This is what happens when we have no structure for an episode. It's just ADHD nonsense right out the gate.
Isn't that every podcast, though? I thought that was...
I mean, it definitely can be. I've listened to a few that are definitely like that. Yeah, for sure. Oh my God. Speaking of Throne of Glass, though, I finished that in February. I finished Kingdom of Ash in February, but I had read a majority of them in December and January. And oh my God, you say that you went into a book slump. I was just so happy to be reading something else that wasn't wrecking me from the inside.
Yeah, Kingdom of Ash is hard. It's rough.
Dude, just all of that
I
whole
cried so
series. Yeah, that whole series was, I mean, it's typical Sarah J. Maas. It's great. The only series I have left now is Crescent City from her. But Throne of Glass was just a fun progression and really gave me kind of nostalgia vibes to my teenage years of reading these really long, drawn out adventure series and stuff. And I just really loved that. But it was more adultified, obviously, with, occasional hints of smut. I don't even think you could really call it smut half the time.
This is not any smut until halfway through the series. I do think it's nice, though, because you get to see her writing style evolve. Because, man, when I was reading Throne of Glass, I'm like, ooh, girl.
'Twas very simple. 'Twas very, very simple. And there was a lot of things that were that were just such big plot holes to me. Towards the end of the first book, when that mark is clearly radiating on her forehead, and I'm like, so you're telling me that the demon infested king didn't look at that and go, hey, maybe that's a problem. Maybe we should handle this.
Yeah, I don't know. Also, I do think it was kind of cool because Aelin was really young at that point, and she's about the same age as Sarah when she was writing it. So I'm like, man, you are writing a spot on portrayal of the nonsense that goes on in a teenage girl's mind whose
Oh,
frontal cortex is not
absolutely.
even fully developed yet.
Yeah, there is no concept of consequences for Aelin Galathinius for a minute, which, I think she did well to incorporate later into the series because boy howdy did she face many consequences in so many different respects. But yeah, damn, that was such a great series. Probably one of my favorite series that I've read in a hot minute, which to be honest, before this, I don't know what other series I had really completed lately outside of Akatar, but it feels
Also,
unfair
Sarah
to
J.
just
Maas. Yeah.
yeah, also Sarah J. Maas. So it's like I can't really compare the two of those. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I think my next big series is going to be the Murderbot Diaries.
I haven't even heard of that.
Oh my God, dude. Okay. So I heard about it from Carrie Can Read.
Okay.
And it was just this one off book that she had mentioned. And like the whole deal, I think there's like 7 books in the series, right?
Okay. Big
And
series.
yeah, so basically the murder bot in question is like this sophisticated AI who's like don't quote me on any of this because I'm pulling from like the depths of my memory. I just added it to like my
I
Amazon wish
literally thought
list
you were
last
about to
night.
say the depths of your beehole.
No.
But basically, yeah.
Yeah, but basically yes, exactly. But he's like an AI like mercenary or like assassin or something, but basically he starts to like develop a conscience. And so that entails, a whole line of shenanigans, is I believe what it was. And I think the first book it's something Project Red. I can't remember for the life of me. But that's the next one that I've been like really eyeing up. I mean, outside of Crescent City, which I've also just started, so I should probably get through one series first instead of starting a billion. But yeah, what's the
See, and
last series you finished?
oh my god. Okay, so a few. I just want to say before we move on, I'm putting off Crescent City, I think.
Really? If it like, dude, I'm telling you, if it's because of how much build there is at the beginning of that book, I would be hard pressed to believe a single bitch out there understands what's going on in the first like 5 chapters of that book
It's so
because it's
it's
just a lot.
it's not even that. It's not even that. I've spent so much time over the last, well, I mean, I say so much time. I finished Akatar like in a week and then Throne of Glass in like 2 to 3 weeks. So it's not that much time, but like I just want something other than Sarah J. Maas right now. Like
Yeah, fair. I
I
mean, you've
I'm
read a lot of books in between them, but still.
just not ready to go back, man. Like, don't get me
Yeah,
wrong. I
fair.
I still like there is a lot of love in my heart for both of those series, but they are obviously not without their problems. And some of
Also
the
very
things,
long.
yeah. Well, I mean, I don't like. I'm not gonna bat an eye at a big book. Like, give me that brick. I will hit me straight in the head with that brick. I will eat it up. But I don't know. Like, I just needed a break. She does these things that like I don't know. Remember how we had that whole conversation of like things that she would like repeat all of the time?
Oh, because she could have sworn that
She
somebody
saw
sniffed
something in
something in somebody's
somebody's
eye.
eyes. I'm just not ready, man. I want
We're sniffing this, we're sniffing that, we're sniffing her watery bowels. Like, you just. Lots of scent things,
and I
which
also
is more
like
of a trope in fantasy that I even realized because I obviously went through like a huge portion of time not really reading much at all. And now that I'm reading all the time again, I'm like, wow, these are some common tropes of
mhm.
people smelling things.
Everybody's sniffing everybody. I know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I never really took like a break from reading. Like I've consistently been reading my whole life and I feel like it's more prominent now than it used to be for sure.
Oh,
Partially,
yeah.
I would like to say due to like Sarah J Maas and like the rise of romantasy as a genre. Like
Which I
people
love. Girl, I am so down for romantasy as a genre. I didn't
oh
even
no,
know that was
same.
like an actual genre, but that's like, it's got to be in my top 3, probably.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't care who's hating on me for reading these little fairy smut romance books. I'm gonna do it anyway. But you asked what's the last series I finished? Let me look through my Kindle and see. For context, I read 26 books in February.
Which is
Um,
ridiculous. I read 6. I read literally 6 books in February, and 2 of those were for the pod. It was Juniper and Thorn and Bride. So,
to be fair, though, some of these, as I was talking to Elena about before, can be like condensed down. So I read the whole Heartstopper series, everything's that's been out.
okay, what is the Heartstopper series? Is that another like YA thing?
So I guess it's YA. I don't know. It's a graphic novel series by, God, what is her name? She is awesome. She's written like a bunch of other books that I want to read now too, all kind of in the same universe. But it's about these two English gay high school boys and their
Oh,
relationship. And it's just,
that is not what I expected at all.
yeah. Oh my God. And it just like, man, it got me in my feels. I
Does
was
it
like,
give you some like Yuri on Ice vibes?
honestly, like kind of slightly less yearning, I feel, but like you should
Okay,
read
okay, I
them.
got you.
They're so cute. I was kicking my little feet.
I was
Um
kicking my little feet.
Alice Osman or Osman? Osman?
Okay.
Oseman? Girl, I don't know.
Yeah, I've never heard of
Anyway,
her.
she's great. And the way she illustrates things, it's just so cute.
Was it a graphic novel?
Mhm. Yes, 5
Oh,
graphic
okay,
novels.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. I got you. I got
Hmm.
you.
Yeah,
I'm picking
they're
up what you're putting down now. We see, we see.
would strongly recommend. You can also read most of it on Tapas.
What is that?
I don't know. It's like a site where you can like read like
Oh,
it's
it's like
called
a
like
website. Oh, okay.
webtoons kind of. I
Okay,
don't know.
okay. Yeah, I was addicted to webtoons really hard there for a minute.
Hmm.
Tower of
Yeah, Tower
God
of
was
God. Yeah,
amazing.
I've gotten through the first one of those, and so good. It's so cute. So I don't know if I would count that as. I guess it's 5 separate books, but they're graphic novels. You know, the amount of
Got you,
text
got
is
you.
not a lot. I read the Cruel Prince trilogy,
Hmm.
which would also recommend. That one's really popular.
That I just added to my wish list also as
Okay,
well
yeah,
because I'm
it's.
soups interested. And you had that like you have this special edition that has like this black velvet
Mhm,
exterior, and oh my god, it's so cute, and I am
mhm.
obsessed with it, and I want that one, but I can't find it.
I will. I'll try and find it and send you the link. I think they're still selling it. If I were you, I would get it. I don't know if it's limited edition. I
If
don't
it
know.
is, I'm not going to be like devastated. I'm not one to like try and collect like really pretty books, but that was one that I was like,
I am.
yeah, we know you are. You have a problem.
Yeah, so that series really kind of like I went into it knowing that it was more political intrigue and more about the politics of the Fae than it was about the romance. I did
Okay.
not expect to like it as much as I did because of that. And I still like I fucking loved that shit. I was like, "Oh my god, she's going to kill him?" What? Like
So is it
her
like
dad did
a
what?
her dad did who? Is it like
No,
is
not
there
who.
like
What?
sexual oh god. Is
No. Not
uh
really.
okay, so there's no like sexual tension like build
Oh
up
yeah.
or anything
Oh,
like that. Oh,
so
so there is that or like
kind of.
it's really all about like the political intrigue of it.
So when people talk about like enemies to lovers, like this series is in my mind the embodiment of any enemies to lovers because they
Okay, got you.
fucking hate each other for a long
Oh,
time.
we love that. We love that.
You don't really get like
Which is so wild. Have you hated anyone that you ended up falling in love with? Because I have not. Every person I've hated, I still hate. And the list is pretty short. It's like less than one hand.
so when I was, oh my God, how old was I? Like 9 or 10, living in an apartment complex in Southern California, I had a nemesis. And
As one does at 9.
yeah, listen, I don't know why my mother did not take me and get me diagnosed because I feel like there's something going on up here that made me the way that I was when I was a child. But anyway, this dude, and I just like, man, I'm hesitant to say his name because
Yeah, don't say his name. Just there's a dude. Yeah. We don't need to put that out there.
I'll tell you his name later because you're gonna hear it and you're gonna be like, what?
Oh my
Because
god.
It's like an old English name, and his last name is a bird, a type of
Cute.
bird. So it's not cute. It's really something. But, anyways, he was much older than me. And I hated him with every fiber of my being, but I also was in love with him.
That 9 years old, 9 years old, and you're feeling such complex things. I'm pretty sure at 9 years old, I was still, I don't know, what do 9 year olds try to do? Not eat dirt? Like, that's probably what I was trying to do. I was probably trying to not eat dirt.
Well, I have always felt like I
I
was
was
the main
also living.
character of my life. And I would like create these elaborate scenarios in my head.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, I mean, you know what? And you lived in Southern California. And so that makes sense. I lived in a trailer in the middle of the woods in Missouri. So you don't really think you're a main character when you're living in a trailer in the middle of
Okay,
the woods in Missouri.
girl, you say Southern California like it was like luxurious. When we first moved, we were in a trailer park too.
Oh,
Because
fair. I mean, I don't know. When people think of like the trope of California, I just moved from there, and trust me, everybody who lives in California thinks that they're living in the center of the world.
oh my god, yeah, no, I'm so like when my mom moved me from Houston, Texas to California, she's like, yeah, the guy that I'm seeing, because I had never met this dude before. He's like, he's
Hmm.
he's bought a brand new house, and that's what we're moving into. Because she's trying to like talk me into being excited because I was pissed. I was
Yeah.
so mad
What
that
kid is
she was
excited to lose all their friends and their comfortability
and
in
my
their school?
family.
Yeah,
Like
that
all of
too.
my family was there. So, oh, I was so mad. And then we get there after she's like talking up this whole situation, and we pull into the Santa Rosa trailer park in Hemet, California. This brand new, beautiful house that he bought is actually a double wide. And I don't think my mom knew either. It was a whole thing. But yeah,
Oh
they
my God. She pulled that shit I do to my dogs when I'm like, hey, you guys want to go to the park and get a steak? And then we roll up to the vet's office and they're like, you have
ew,
lied.
deception, wench.
Yes, I still take them to the park afterwards, to be clear. I am not a total psychopath, but
You need to reward
it's
them for
still.
being the goodest girls. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. But oh girl, that's fun. I didn't live in an
Yeah.
actual trailer park. My trailer, was just in in the woods, not
Oh
in
no,
any
I've
kind
seen
of
it.
park.
Yeah. It's literally in the middle of nowhere.
Oh my gosh, what a time. Childhood was good. Anyway, speaking of enemies to lovers, I also read an enemies to lovers. I don't know. Do we call fan fictions books? Are fan fictions books?
I'm
I
okay, listen, I'm going to say yes because it's
I
if
mean,
you're
it's as
spending
long as a book. It's a story,
it is a
like
piece of written content. So like if a memoir is a book, if we're going to classify a graphic novel as a book, like I don't know, I think fan fiction should be like if you read a piece of content that took you an exorbitant amount of time, we're going to call it a
I
book.
would still say it's like a book. And I think that also plays into the argument of like, we have our fan fictions books and also like the way that you ingest books is now a thing of like can you really say you read a book if you listen to the audio book or if you read it on whatever other medium. And because I've seen also, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of like under the impression for a while there that it was like if you don't physically read the book, like you're not reading the book, like that's just not the thing. And then you came along and were like, I listened to like 73 audiobooks today. I'm like, what?
Well, when I'm at work, I like do a lot of like data entry and busy work, or like when I'm putting together proposals for the engineering firm that I work for, it's like I like to have something on in the background. And yes,
Yeah,
I
for
could listen to
sure.
music, but most of the time I'm like, might as well check out this book that I've been wanting to read from Libby and knock it out, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, when I'm at work, I will sometimes go through 2 audiobooks a day because man, the ADHD is strong and I can't listen to it any slower than like 1.75 speed. And even that sometimes is slow depending on the narrator.
1.5 is like my max currently, and Matt, my husband, will still be like, how are you even processing what they're saying? And I'm like, what do you mean? And then like I tried to turn it down for him, and it genuinely felt like they were talking like this, and I was like, "Oh, I can't deal with that.
Yeah, it
That's
makes you feel like they're
unacceptable."
talking to you like you have a learning disability,
Yeah, like, it's very much like, "Oh
which
my
no
god,
no
what is
shame,
happening?"
man, but I'm like, please just, I don't know, spit
Why
it
do
out.
you yeah, get it out of your system, especially as someone who talks very quickly. I cannot deal with listening to people talk super slowly like that. But anyway, to loop it back to, you know, is that still reading? I've now come to a more sound conclusion, which is like books are there to convey a story, and it doesn't matter how you ingest said story, you're still like you're taking in the book.
You
And
are
that's why I
consuming
just
a
say
piece of literature.
yeah, so
Yeah.
that's why I say ingest versus read because while I still love reading, I also listen to a lot of audiobooks. Now, honestly, I have what I think is like the best setup ever, which is a hybrid model of having the book and having the audiobook because I am a housewife. So I am bebopping around my house, either cleaning something or cooking something or doing something with my dogs. And when I'm up and about, I can sit there and listen to an audiobook. And as soon as I want to sit down and chill or read before bed or whatever, I can sit there with my actual book and just pick it up where I left off. And I love that. I love
Mhm.
that so much. It is the most convenient thing in the world. So, if you ingest a book in any way, audiobook, Kindle, a website, whatever, like you still read a book, damn it. I will die on this hill.
Yeah. I mean, and are you like, if we're basing it off of like the technical definition of reading, like with your eyeballs, okay, sure, maybe like whatever. You're still consuming the content, and I think that's what counts.
Yeah, fair. I mean, because you're still kind of getting like the same thing out of it. Like you're still getting the knowledge of the story and how it made you feel and, everything like that. There was like another argument brought up of like, it can only count if you remember like a certain
Oh, from
percentage of like
Carrie's
the book.
video?
Yeah.
We are big Carrie can read stands, if that was not apparent.
Yeah, we love her. She's great. But that's also something where I was just like, dude, like there's from every book series I read, every year that goes by or any book that I read, like I could probably give you like two or three details in a book, but I'm going to be hard pressed to give you a play by play of the plot. I'm probably not going to remember any of the characters' names. It's just a general idea of it. And I don't think we're meant to like retain all of that. Like you enjoy it in the moment, you have a good time with it, and then you move on and then you read more shit. Like
Yep. Bitch, half the time I can't even tell you what I had for breakfast yesterday, and you want me to tell you exactly what happened in a book that I read a year ago? It's not
yeah,
happening.
it's definitely not. But earlier we were talking, about fan fictions and enemies to lovers, and I read the fan fiction Secrets and Masks, which is a Hermione fan fiction. And the only reason I know that Hermione fan fiction even exists is because you got me to read Manacled last year. Was it last year or was it the year before?
Might have been the year before.
I think it might have been the year before at this point.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but Manacled, if you guys have not heard of Manacled, God, read it. It is a Draco Malfoy and Hermione fan fiction, and it's like years after the war, but Voldemort wins and the war's still dragging on, and it's all just like really crazy. And there's like some Handmaid's Tale influence in there, which like trigger warning if literally being enslaved and abused is not a great thing for you to read about. Definitely don't pick this up because it is very, very dark, but it's got a cool like little twist in it and all sorts of fun stuff. So Secrets
Mhm.
and Masks
Yeah,
is
read it while you can, though, because the author has now gotten a publishing deal and she is reworking it to publish it as not Dramini fan fiction. It's going to be alchemized, I think is what it's going to be called, but eventually it's going to get taken off of AO3.
oh,
So,
interesting.
yeah,
Yeah,
if
do
you
that quickly.
go download the PDF while you can or
Yeah, there's like
EPUB, whatever you need.
I heard that there's like quite a few like
Many, many
fan
authors
fiction
are taking
creators
her
that are
stuff
getting
off of.
like pulled down from that because people are trying to sell it and like
Hmm.
bookbind it and stuff and
Yeah.
don't do that because it's illegal.
Yeah, it's really sad. I had to go through and like mass download a bunch of stuff before, because Secrets and Masks
Just to
is
make sure you
gone.
got it. Oh,
That's
wow. I'm
Yeah.
glad that I got it before that because
Well,
it
that's
was
literally
so
why you
good.
got it, is because hey, download this now. It's gonna be
Yeah.
mine soon.
And it was definitely worth it. I read it on, I just recently went to visit Haley and I was reading that on the plane and I could not tell you, I did not look up from my Kindle the whole time. The whole time I was in the airport and on that plane, it was like at one point people were like deplaning and it was my turn to get off and I did not even realize it until like the people in my row stood up and I was like, "Oh wow, I am really in my own world." And that was definitely a like hardcore enemies to lovers thing with a whole lot of hate banging. So that's fun to
I
look
eat that shit
forward
up,
to.
man.
Same, honestly. I'm like, am I basic? I'm basic. Like,
I
damn
don't
it.
listen. I don't care. People like what people like, and I'm gonna take this back to the people that are like criticizing what it means to read. Why is it any of your business? Like,
Yeah, let people enjoy things. Why do we have to gatekeep stupid shit that nobody cares about? Like, they're just experiencing joy and happiness.
you're like, who cares how somebody else consumes a book? Like, mind your business.
For real though, I'm just like, oh, I'm not about that. All right, so should we start like negative or should we start positive? I feel like we should start negative. We're some pessimistic bitches some days. What's the worst book that you've read so far this year that you're like that you don't even want to remember and you or maybe one that you DNF'd, but it doesn't have to be DNF'd. Like I think we've had a conversation before of like just because a book is sucking, for some reason you'll be compelled to finish it. And then you're like,
It
huh.
depends. So, like, I will read trash and love it because sometimes trash is entertaining. If
Mhm.
something just like isn't my vibe, like it can be like a world-renowned book, like something that is universally loved and
Oh, for
maybe
sure.
I've just picked it up at the wrong time. If the
Mhm.
vibes aren't vibing, I'm out. I'm not going to
Oh,
finish it.
totally
So,
understand.
and then sometimes I'll pick it up later and I'll love it, but
Yep.
that doesn't always happen. I mean, I think the worst book I read this year is probably going to be the same as you. So, because we read it for the podcast.
Oh my god.
I don't think anything will ever make me as angry as Credence did.
Yeah, honestly, God, Credence was I listen, I've read now a decent handful of smut, okay? And none of them have ever felt like I'm literally just reading like a play from Pornhub. It's like I felt like I was just reading through a script to a Brazzers video.
Were they like, I don't know, the acting was horrible, but they really tried hard to like make you feel something for the characters and you just didn't
Yes.
and you were mad about it because they tried so hard. I don't know.
It really was like one of those things where it was like trying to bring complexity into characters that didn't like they weren't complex. They just sucked. Like I don't know how else to put it.
I want to read another Penelope Douglas book to like just to know if I just don't like her writing style or if it was just that book
And if
that
there's
I
just like
hate.
a horrible playlist and all of those books too.
Yeah, that playlist. Oh my god, just
Yeah, I will have to say like that yeah, that one is probably it's probably the number one book that I like didn't like. A step up from that, one that I liked, but I didn't like eat up, but I enjoyed it. Like it was satisfying, but it like wasn't my fave. I guess it could be like the middle child would probably have been Juniper and Thorn.
mm-hmm,
I I liked it and I loved the concept of it. I liked how it was kind of whimsical but also dark and serious.
mm-hmm,
But I don't know, like I really struggle with books where like the first half of them
mm-hmm.
I'm stuck like, okay, I feel like I'm just reading to read it right now and not
Yeah, it
just
was
like
a really
reading to
slow
get
build
into the
up.
story. And it really was. And once it really started to like go, I was like, yes, absolutely. Okay, this is a lot better. But still, there was just so much like weird stuff in it. I think I enjoyed bits and pieces of her writing more than I enjoyed the story itself because of how
Mm-hmm.
she described things. It was very I think you described it as lyrical and
Yeah,
like I can see that and I enjoyed that, but the story itself like I don't know. Like I didn't like super love it, didn't hate it. It was just kind of like there, you know?
mm-hmm.
Like it was okay.
Middle of the road.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely middle of the road.
I do want to read more Ava Reed.
Me too. I think that I already added a bunch of her books to well, I added two of her books to my Amazon wish
Study
list.
of
So
Drowning, or Study and Drowning, and uh
I think the other one was like some, was it some lumberjack thing? I don't know.
Lumberjack.
It's like, it's not
The Woodsman,
lumberjack.
Huntsman thing
Yes, it's like the huntsman or something. I don't know how I'm getting lumberjack out of that. He's killing trees,
in the
y'all.
woods.
But yeah, definitely something I would like to check out, more of her writing. But
Yeah, I mean, in the same vein of that, like I do normally enjoy stories like Juniper and Thorn, where it is more about vibes than it is technically about the plot. I read, what was it, Last Tale of the Flower Bride last year, and it kind of gave me similar feelings of like, okay, it's slow moving, but you just have like this kind of weird sense of eeriness throughout the whole thing.
mm,
That one, I mean, I don't know if you would love The Last Tale of the Flower Bride, but it's good. It was a really great book. I also read The Center this year, which is about this language school that's really. I mean, you're probably not going to read it, are you?
yeah, probably not. I think I remember you kind of giving me like a little bit of tea about the center.
Okay, so spoilers if you decide you want to read The Center, skip past this part. So it's about this girl, and she is dating this guy, and she's like a translator. So she's working on Bollywood films initially, but she wants to be translating like great works of literature. That's her goal, but it's really hard to break into that. But
Hmm.
she translated things in her native tongue into English. So she's dating this guy, and he is like unreal, so good at every language that he has learned, just like in an, I don't know, like, and he doesn't seem like he's really all that special, or like he's a savant or anything like that, but he just like, he can pick it up and he just knows everything. Like he can speak it like he's from that country. He's fluent.
Oh, must
So
be nice.
yeah, and so he all of a sudden learns how to speak her native tongue after she had spent like however long of them being together trying to teach him, and he just wasn't picking it up at all, couldn't remember like one single word. And then he goes away to this language school for, I think it's like 10 days, and he comes back and he can speak it better than she can.
Oh,
Yeah, so she's
what?
like, "What the hell?"
Like, what's
So
going on up in there?
yeah, so she ends up talking him into telling her about this school. It's called the Center, and he can only tell one person about it. They have like these really strict rules. They have no social media or online presence. Like it's hush hush. Nobody knows anything about the Center unless you go there. So she is his one person that he can tell, and she ends up going, and she learns German, something, I don't know. And while she's there, all they do is eat wonderful food and then sit in these cubicles with headphones on, listening to somebody speak in whatever language they're trying to learn. And they're just relaying their life story, right?
Oh, okay.
So you can't understand anything at first. And then all of a sudden, you just can. So she's like, is it witchcraft? What is it? And then, like, the mystery starts eating at her. And while she's there, she ends up making friends with, like, the person running the school. And they
Okay.
have, like, this sort of weird dynamic of, like, they're, like, into each other, but kind of repressed. She's like never admitted to herself that she's actually got homosexual tendencies. That's a whole plot line. But anyways, so come to find out, skipping forward, the big secret is that they're straight up eating people. Like
Oh
whoever,
my God. I was just about to say, I'm like, are they just like sucking their souls out of them, like
I
through
thought it was
these
going to be more
stories?
magic oriented too. No, she gets in with
Oh my
this
God, the
girl.
food. Are they like feeding them people? Oh, that's so horrible. Oh my
Yep.
God.
So like all the people that are chopped up and eaten or whatever, they agree to it ahead of time. So nobody's like being forced into it, and they like pay off whatever debt they have. Like it starts off this group of guys in college, and they're the ones that came up with the idea, and they would like go to countries and like buy people that were like indentured servitude or whatever, and they'd like pay off all of their debts and give them like a place to work and, you know, get their family set. And then they would chop them up and cook them and feed them to people and market it to white people as like
What the
some
fuck?
magical hippie language retreat. I don't know. I
Some Gwyneth Paltrow shit.
Yeah, I know that I just explained that so horribly, but man, that book threw me for a loop. But like
Yeah, it freaking sounds like it. Jesus.
the whole beginning of it, I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? Is this a satanic cult? Like, no, just cannibalism, just some light cannibalism.
Just some light cannibalism. So would you say that was also like a middle of the road for you? Or did you
Um,
enjoy that one more
I
so?
rated it 3 stars. Like, I enjoyed it.
Out of 5 or 10?
Out of 5.
Okay. I'm like, how many stars are in this metric?
5, always 5. There were some things that, like, I read some reviews later on that kind of like made me have some feelings about it, like the portrayal of the character and her culture and how it was like not the most accurate,
Oh, okay.
or like some of the things that she was talking about coming off as like kind of racist. I don't know. I was just like, I don't know anything about this because I'm not familiar with like the ins and outs of this girl's culture. And I know that the woman who wrote it was, I believe, a part of that culture. So maybe it was just infused with her opinions. But I don't know. I'm just like,
And like her take on it, like in general.
yeah.
Okay. I could see that.
Like it was a cool read.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like pretty decent. If I didn't have a TBR list longer than
Mine's
the Empire
literally 10
State
pages.
Building,
So
yeah,
yeah.
I can't. I literally cannot. My husband is like, "Are you stressing yourself out because of you feel you have to read all these books?" And I'm like, "Maybe a little."
Well,
Like maybe just a bit. I need a lot of money dollars to buy all these books that I want, and I need you to shut up.
technically you don't. You just need to use Libby, but
I do use Libby, and I also go to my library, also as well. And I feel like I've kept my shit pretty tame. I am subscribed to Audible, so I get like one free audiobook every month,
well,
and
it's not
then
free. You pay for
well,
the audiobook.
yeah, I whatever. I pay the subscription to
Girl
get the
math.
audiobook. Yeah. I'm like, I give them $18, they give me a credit, and I use the credit to get a free book with the credit. It's a free credit for the book that I pay for. $18. Oh my God. And then also book of the month, and that's been amazing. Every book of the month I've gotten so far, with the exception of last month's, only because I haven't read it yet. It was Heartless Hunter or something like that.
Yeah,
The
we need to
other
read that.
yeah, the other 2 that I have gotten, oh my God, that was actually the last book I read. Yeah, let's go ahead and shift to books that we've absolutely loved.
Mhm.
And like, I have 3 that I picked up and literally could not put down until I devoured the hell out of it. One is Annie Bot. That was this month's book of the month, and I finished that yesterday. I received it yesterday and I finished it yesterday.
Yeah, don't tell me anything about it though, because
Oh, I'm
mine
not going
hasn't
to fill
gotten
you
here
in on
yet.
any
We
of
picked the
that. Yeah,
same
yeah.
book.
Antibot, Project Hail Mary, and The First Lie Wins. And The First Lie Wins is another book of the month thing. All of those, highly recommend. Project Hail Mary, like, oh God. You've already read it. So, spoilers for Project Hail Mary, but it's basically about an astronaut who wakes up alone on this ship to find out, in the middle of space. And he slowly finds out that he was sent on like this expedition to go study these particles that are essentially like eating the sun or something. And it's going to like make the planet all freeze over. So he's like doing that, and he's like on his own because he wakes up and his 2 other crewmates are dead. And then he like meets this little alien who speaks like what I think is puppy cat for being puppy cat. It's just like musical tones.
Well, that's why I wanted you to listen to the audiobook because oh my God, it's just so good. But the way that they make him sound, it does kind of sound a little bit like Puppy
Like,
Cat, slightly
yeah.
slightly less whimsical, but a little bit like Puppy Cat.
I love it so much. So he's like a spider-like crustacean type entity. He's definitely not human at all, but he's incredibly intelligent, and they work together to be able to understand each other. And then eventually he ends up coming aboard their ship, and they're studying these particles together, and they develop this whole relationship. And it is so good. Oh my God. I honestly don't even want to give too much past what I'm saying, because you need to read this book for yourself. You will seriously be so obsessed. The last space book I read was The Martian, and that was like a couple years ago. And
Same
that one
author.
also incredible. And yeah, it's the same author. So like, dude, this man has stressy, gut-wrenching sci-fi space stories down. Okay. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to reach directly into your chest, grab your heart, and rip it out. Okay. Like, he knows what he's doing. And it's great. It's so good.
Yeah.
As for The First Lie Wins, that one, like, it's like both The First Lie Wins and Antibot, they're not super long. I think 300 pages or less. The First Lie Wins is like this kind of like spy kind of deal. And she's like slowly kind of giving you like backstory on things that she's been doing to basically get out from under her like head honcho, who is like, you know, gonna screw her over. And she's worried that she's gonna be like clapped, and so she's going to be the first to do the clapping, and it's got a fun little twist. It's pretty cool. I enjoyed it. That was definitely one that could not put down. And then Antibot. Oh my god, Antibot is about a sex robot that has like really advanced AI, and basically she is living her life with her partner and starts to develop really complicated human emotions, and it just leads to a whole bunch of stuff, and it is, you are gonna love it.
I'm so excited to read it.
It's like 280 pages. Like, it's not long
Oh,
enough.
I'm
Like,
gonna
I
smash that. Yeah.
oh yeah, like I literally, so oh my gosh, especially after us recording Bride and, you know, working my butt cheeks off on that, I just wanted a day off yesterday after we posted, because we're recording this on Tuesday, or no, on Wednesday. So we just posted Bride yesterday. And I just wanted a break yesterday to do absolutely nothing. So my husband left and I was curled up on my beanbag starting Antibot. And when he got home, I was like on the last couple of pages and I was like, okay, I'm done. And he was like, have you moved? Like, what have you done? And I'm like, I laid here and I read this book. Leave me be. And it was great. I loved every second of it. Okay. I had tea, I had snacks, I had my book. I did not need to be bothered. And my babies were cuddling me. So it was great. But those are definitely like my top 3 for the year of like could not put them down. And best series for the year, obviously, is probably gonna be Throne of Glass. I don't know if the Murderbot Diaries will be better than that, or if I pick up another series that I'll like more. But so far, Throne of Glass is in the lead for top series.
If we're talking about books we like, so I'm just going to briefly recap what all I've read this month. I'm going to give you the list, and then I'll tell you which ones I liked, and then also
just this month.
Well, okay, so we can talk about all of them then, I guess. So far this year, I've read 36 books. We've already talked about The Center. I read a fan fiction called The Erised Effect, which is also Hermione fan fiction, and it was good. I had a good time reading it, but it's just smut, you know? There's not like a ton of plot. I read Credence, which we already talked about, Juniper and Thorn, which we already talked about. I read the last Emily Henry book that I hadn't read yet, which was Beach Read, and
it was you who told me to try Emily Henry. I just saw her on like my Amazon suggested books last night, and I was like, why does that author sound so familiar? It was you.
She's the one that wrote Book Lovers that I told you about, where it's like the publicist and the and the like the literary agent that are both grumpy and
very snarky.
Yeah.
And low-key horny.
Loved that. But I read Beach Read. That one was good. Not my favorite Emily Henry book. I think that probably goes to Book Lovers, but it's up there. Definitely liked it more than Happy Place. Happy Place was not my favorite. I have a lot of opinions about Happy Place. Okay, so then I read The Serpent and the Wings of Night duology, which I wasn't expecting to love as much as I did, but I did really love it. It's really good. It's a vampire series. I was going to ask, are we counting duologies as a series, or is that just, I don't know if that counts.
I mean, that's like kind of like a series. I mean, like there's a book after another book. Yeah. Isn't that a series of books? I don't know. I mean, I guess it's like,
regardless, it's not going to be my favorite series for the year, but I just wanted to clarify. So read those, read the Cruel Prince trilogy, which that was up there. Wasn't a 5-star series for me, but was really good. I also read the novella, The Lost Sisters, which goes along with the Cruel Prince trilogy. And then I read, because I was in a Holly Black, I was on a Holly Black bender, I read all of the Spiderwick Chronicles, which for me wasn't hitting, but I think that's literally just because I wasn't the target audience, right? It's for kids.
That would probably be why.
Also, there are 5 books, and it could have been 1 book. That whole series could have been an email. Is the whole
It's
thing.
so funny, like looking at like chapter books that you picked up in like, the third to sixth grade, and you're like,
Mhm.
oh my God, I felt so badass reading these. And then you go back and you look at them and you're like, wow, this isn't even like one chapter of a book I read now. Like, that's insane.
Yeah,
They felt so much bigger.
they did. I also branched off and read some T. Kingfisher and
Occur, occur.
really enjoyed T. Kingfisher. I read Nettle and Bone and Thornhedge. Nettle and Bone I liked a lot more than Thornhedge. It's more like kind of dark fairy tale esque vibes, not based off of any particular fairy tale, but they're good. Would recommend. Not my favorite things that I've read, but again, they're good. Butcher and Blackbird, that's up there for me for February for sure. Which I told you about. That's about two serial
Hmm.
killers who get into
Yeah,
a
I really want to read that. That
yeah,
is on my TBR. I definitely am about that. But anyway, continue. It's
should.
like two serial killers that like are
Um
like falling in love through choosing the same mark or something and competing against them or something.
Sort of. So they like run into each other while they're trying to kill the same guy, and there's like instant chemistry, and they decide that they're going to hold a competition every year
Mm,
where they hunt the same person. Whoever figures out who the person is and finds them gets to kill them. And that's like the prize. But they only
okay.
kill other serial killers.
Got
And
you. Because they're
while
not like other girls.
no, they are not like other serial killers at all. It was fun. There were some things that were maybe a little cringe, but I listened to the audiobook for this one and it's dual narrated and it's good. Oh my god, it's good.
Dude,
The
also I like when like I am disappointed honestly a little bit if there's like some smut or something and there's not like there needs to be at least one or two things I can cringe at. It's just a part of the process, okay? I just like a little like sometimes I want to read something that I'm like, "Wow, that really hurt." I wish that I could unread that because I don't know, it's just really great.
I think it correlates with real sex because sometimes cringy things happen during actual sex. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. That's such a good point. Like not everything can be great all the time. Sometimes your man is saying really weird stuff about his knot. Not my man, to be clear. Sorry. We've just finished Bride. That's still fresh in my mind. The knot, the knotting. I can't.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've been with a lot of guys that say some things that I'm like, oh god.
Do you remember that like story that was circulating like years ago? It was like really popular, but it was like the dude who was kind of like vanilla and his girlfriend being like, "I want you to talk dirty to me." And he says something to the effect of like, "Yeah, you like that, you fucking idiot." Like,
I was on Reddit. I think I don't know.
yeah. I was like, "Oh my God, honestly, that's like that gives me like big my husband energy."
Oh my god, that's
Oh,
so funny.
Jesus. So Butcher and Blackbird, the two assassins one.
Yeah,
Definitely
well, I
check
mean,
that
that's
out.
that's pretty much it.
Since we
Yeah,
just yeah.
definitely check that one out. That one's up there for the month. Then again, I read the whole Heartstopper series, which is also up there, but
Mhm.
not my favorite series for the year. I read How the King of Elfheim Learned to Hate Stories, which is another book in the Holly Black cursed, or not cursed, Cruel Prince universe.
Oh,
Um,
okay, interesting.
and we read Bride, of course. I read another book called Together We Rot. I just finished that recently, and that one's weird. I don't know if that one's kind
Gives
of
me
gives
zombie vibes. Is it zombie vibes?
not exactly. Kind
Okay.
kind of in the same vein as like The Center and Juniper and Thorn. It's about
Mhm.
this girl who is looking for her missing mother and suspects her former best friend's family. And
Oh.
yeah, her former best friend's dad is like the town preacher, and they
Oh.
have like a really kind of culty church. And they're like, she's got pictures of him like sacrificing animals out in the backwoods. So she's like
Oh
trying to take it to the
God.
sheriff, like, it's
Oh,
them.
I
I
love
know
it. I
it's
love
them.
cults. I love the
Yeah.
culty business. I love it. I love it. It's so messed up. I love it.
Yeah. So, anyways, that caused a rift between her and her best friend when she accused his family of being the reason why her mom disappeared. So they
Hmm.
haven't talked in a while, and then all of a sudden he like shows up at her house because something crazy happened with his family, and there's like some scary sort of magical elements. He feels like there's something growing inside of him, and they've got
Interesting. He's
to
boy pregnant?
kind of,
Kind of.
kind of. And it's like them trying to solve this mystery of what the culty church is up to, and Yeah, it's so weird, but it was good. That one I rated like around 3 stars. And then I read Love Theoretically, which is Ali Hazelwood. I finished that. I had gotten halfway through a while back and then finally had the time to finish it. Really liked that one. Don't know if I loved it as much as The Love Hypothesis,
Is that
but
your favorite Ali Hazelwood book, you think, The Love Hypothesis?
so far I haven't read Love on the Brain yet. I have that
Okay,
one
okay.
checked out on Libby. So
Interesting.
we'll
All
see.
right,
But
cool.
as of right now, it's The Love Hypothesis. I
Okay.
think I would even rate that above Bride. And then
Ooh, okay.
I started a series that's like the Kingdom of Lies, the Lion Kingdom. Anyway,
You sit on a throne of lies.
the first book is called A Court This Cruel and Lovely,
Oh, I've
which
seen that book. I've seen that book. Yeah.
mhm,
I don't know anything about it, but I've seen it.
which I heard about from Carrie Can Read. Surprise.
Oh, shocking. Yeah. Dude, she's
That
just
one.
got a lot of bangers, man. I know anything she suggests. I'm like, man, I probably would never pick that up on my own, but like, I'll check it out. Why not?
So I loved it. It wasn't like it's not perfect, but it filled the void that Akatar left kind of.
Hmm.
There's like some fairy smut. I also reread the first book in a series that I loved as a kid. It is like the Van Allen Legacy Blue Bloods series, which I don't know if I'm going to continue reading it. I think I might have gotten my fill with Blue Bloods, but it is a really interesting premise. It's like high society vampires going to like a fancy prep school, and there's like monster vampires that feed on other vampires, a weird reincarnation storyline, and yeah, it's a whole bunch of stuff. Anyways, 5-star series that I've read this year is the Mindfuck series.
I knew
That's
you
the
were going to
other.
say that. I was
Mhm.
like, she hasn't mentioned it yet, and she's talked about it multiple times. I would also like to read this
Oh,
one because
it's
you've literally
so
told me
good.
nothing about it. Like, I don't know anything about it.
So I'm not going to give you a ton to go on, but I'll give you the premise. It's about a serial killer who is ends up in a relationship with the FBI agent that's investigating her case.
Oh, that's this one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. I feel like you have told me that before. I've just been popping
Mm-hmm.
too many edibles.
Well, and also I tell you about pretty much every book I read, and we're at 36. So,
Yeah, that's true. I have a lot that I gotta like keep in line. The Mindfuck series. Yeah,
mhm.
I need to pick that. How many books were in that series?
So technically there are 5 books. If you go to buy a physical copy, it will come in one big novel.
Oh,
Because
interesting.
yeah,
Okay.
the books are very short. They're like, 200 pages or less most of the
Okay.
time.
That's
Yeah, they're
cool.
very short. It
See, it doesn't take a long book for it to be like top tier, you know? It just has to be a good story.
See, in my mind, I kind of consider them all one book, but I had to check them out all separately, so I'm counting it as 5. Fight me.
Fair.
Yeah, so that, oh my God. I like dark romance, right?
Hmm.
I don't know if I would necessarily qualify this as dark romance. It's more serial killer romance. But like,
Is that its own genre? Like, would they not fall under the umbrella of dark romance? It's like specifically,
maybe.
it's got to be serial killer
But I mean,
romance.
so like this time it's not I guess it is technically still dark romance. I'm just being sexist because I'm like, well, there's not a morally gray male main character, but no, there is a morally gray female main character, and she is a bad bitch. Like,
Ooh, we love that. Okay. That sounds pretty interesting. I may have to start that next. I have so many books that I want to read. So, we are going to be reading A Fate Inked in Blood, and I'm super excited for that one.
mhm.
That one we're doing for the pod. And then outside of that, I mean, now I think next on my list will probably be the Mindfuck series, especially since it's a little bit like it's not super long. And then I'm probably also going to do the Murderbot Diaries.
Well, if you
And I,
read the series, it is pretty long because it's
yeah,
five
yeah, yeah,
200
fair.
page books.
Yeah, yeah, I got you. But, outside of that, the Murderbot Diaries definitely. And also, Fairy Tale from Stephen King.
Oh
That
my
is
God,
definitely
yeah.
high up on my list
I
that I've
loved
really been
that.
wanting to read. I just bought that. And tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow, I think I'm going to restart that one because I only got like a couple chapters in and I feel like that's a book that you need to like stick with longer. I don't know. It's more of like it's cute and it is more of like a real world romance thing.
Yeah, it's like
It's like
literary fiction or something like that. I can't remember the exact
yeah,
genre.
And it's like, it's good and I want to like it. I just feel like I have been really absorbed in so many other books that just have like really, more engaging stories that are like hooking me in from the beginning and I just cannot set it down. So I've just like that's been
It's
it
not. It's
just
just
keeps
not the
getting
right
pushed to the
time.
back burner. Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
the right time
just sit
for
it
it.
on your
So
chef. Your shelf. You'll get to it eventually, I'm sure.
yeah, that's definitely like pretty much where I'm at with it.
Yeah, I also very much would like to read that book because all of the people that I follow for recommendations love it.
I've only heard good things about it, which is why, like, it's just one of those things where it's like, I know something should be good, so why am I not more pulled into it? And yeah, I think it is just one of those things where it's just like, it's not the right time with
Mhm.
the kind of stuff that I'm reading right now and what is very satiating to me. Like, that's not really cutting it. So
Yeah.
we'll get there eventually.
I think my my immediate TBR is finishing the A Court This Cruel and Lovely series. I'm already halfway
Hmm.
through the second book. I listened to that one all day at work today. And then I wanted to read more Taking Fisher. And also, I want to finish. I have two Allie Hazelwood books. That's right. Because I want to read Check and Mate. She has a
Oh, the
YA.
chess one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's her first YA romance book, and I want to read that one. So that's immediate TBR.
Interesting.
And then obviously A Fate Inked in Blood, which we'll be reading for the podcast.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so we should probably wrap this up. We've been chit-chatting for a little bit and also I kind of want to build our little book nook things or like start
Ooh.
on them. I think that would be very fun. Shout out to our friend Ember who got each of us little book nook things for our shelves
And who
because
also does
we're
all of our amazing graphics.
yes, it does all of our amazing graphics. Oh my gosh. All the art you see is all created from her from scratch and it's amazing. We love her for it. We like, oh God, I cannot express how much I love our art. I'm so glad we got to sit here and chit chat about books. And also, if you guys have made it this far, if there's anyone listening out there, let us know what you've been reading. And if you have any suggestions for us to read, I am a revolving door of accepting any and all suggestions to read because I love it. I will never have my TBR list long enough. If it gets too short, I would get stressed.
Yeah, we're not going to live long enough to read all the books we want to read. And that makes me sad every day.
Yeah. Oh my God, it does. Also, not to get, too sappy, but if you have listened to our episodes, we can't express how much we appreciate, all five of you.
I mean,
uh,
there is nothing more valuable than the human race, I think, or to the human race, I think, than time. So
yeah,
if you're choosing to spend your time listening to us yammer, then
we love you.
that means a lot.
We're skipping to stage 3 of the relationship and we already love you. It's fine. At the time of this recording, we have 25 subscribers and 2 of those subscribers are us. Like we're small, but it's just fun. We've been having a really good time and we get to take our passion and turn it into something that, we get to do together and have like our little project. So it means a lot to us if people are also enjoying our little project and stuff. It's just, yeah, it's very sweet. So leave us comments and make us cry.
Which, oh my god, what is the one girl that always comments the sweetest things on our video?
I think it's like Charlie the Squishy Witch.
Which is the best username ever, by the way.
Yes, it's so adorable.
We look
Yeah.
forward to your comments every every
Yes,
single
you are so
video.
nice. We appreciate it so thoroughly. Like, listen, it's so great. I told Haley when we started this thing, I was like, I don't need it to get big. I don't want us to, have a lot of subscribers. I just want one other person that we don't know to enjoy our content and tell us that we're funny. That's it. That's all I want. We already achieved the goal I had set for this podcast. I set the bar real low. I mean, honestly, I felt like getting one subscriber was going to be too much, but
I don't know. I don't like. I didn't go into this with the intent of doing it for other people. I just wanted to like hang out with you and talk about books. And if somebody likes to also listen to us talk about books, then
Then
that's a fun bonus.
they can vibe with us. Oh, but anywho, we are gonna wrap up this conversation and go build a little book nook. Maybe take a gummy.
I'm about to take
That
a
sounds like a good
fat.
idea. Well, thank you all for listening. Hope you enjoyed our book recommendations and all of our blabbering.
Also,
Be
it's
sure
legal
to,
in our respective states, so don't
yes,
be judgy.
exactly. Yeah, don't do illegal things. We respect the law here. Does that sound convincing? It's convincing.
20,
Anyway,
21-year-old Haley would be laughing in your face.
yeah. Now I'm literally so terrified to break a law ever. I'm like, oh my God, we have to file the taxes correctly. I will not do well in jail.
If I get audited, I'll die.
Yeah, literally, I'll just fall to the ground dead. Oh my lord. All right. You guys know the drill. Like, subscribe, share with your friends and your family. Probably not like, maybe not your family. I take that back.
Not your
Just with your
grandma or like your
friends.
conservative mom or anything
Yeah.
like that, but your cool
Maybe
friends.
your wine aunt.
Yeah.
That would be cool. Go for it. But anyway, we appreciate and love all of you. Thank you again for the millionth time. Have a great day, night, evening, whatever time it is there. Yeah, take care of yourself. Bye.
Bye.